Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, where we present world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and I am the President, Founder, and Chief Listening Officer here at USA Global TV and Radio. We are thrilled to welcome our new followers, our new viewers on E360 TV. We are very grateful for our partnership that we have with them. And this program is being brought to you by our sponsors. We'll hear from them at the very end. So today's topic on Talking Heads is empathetic listening, or understanding the perspective of someone else. Many times when we're listening, we're really just hearing and thinking about what it is that we plan on saying as soon as the other person is finished speaking. I want you to think about that. How many times have you been in a conversation with someone? And I'm even going to put conversation in air quotes, because many times it could be a monologue where the other person is going on and on. Maybe you're the one going on. And all you want to do is get your point across, depending on which perspective it is. But yet we're not really listening to what the other person is saying. We're not putting ourselves in the other person's shoes. Why is this so important? It's important because here at this platform, and for me personally and professionally, I truly believe that if we were able to listen at an elevated level, there would be more peace on earth. There'd be more peace in our hearts, there'd be more peace in our minds, and there'd be more peace in this world. Instead, there's so much discord and strife because everybody is thinking about their perspective. I want to be heard. I want to be right. Not everyone. There are definitely people out there who have transcended, who have gone from a 3D world to 4D, 5D, etc. People who are listening at an elevated level. So my goal, my takeaway for you in this 26.5-minute episode today is to have a better understanding of what empathetic listening is, and to give you some tips on how you can put this into your life as a mantra, as a doctrine, as something that you can follow on a regular basis. A lot of what I'm going to be discussing today can be found in my new book, Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening: Solutions for Deeper Connections, Better Relationships, and More Authentic Conversations. This book became an Amazon #1 new release and bestseller when it was in the pre-order stages. And inside this book, there are 2 quizzes. The first is a pre-assessment. What are your listening skills like today? Are you a novice? Are you intermediate? Are you advanced? And then by the end of the book, there's another quiz that you can take so that you can see how much you comprehended from this book. This book also includes testimonials and case studies. You can get it over on Amazon. So you're having a conversation with someone and you're sharing something that's really important to you, and the other person really doesn't even acknowledge it. And I'm going to give you an example of this because this has happened to me very recently. My dear mother was my best friend. She passed away August 24th. We spent a lot of time together. And of course, we have one mother typically, and we lose that person, and it's a new experience. It might be different than losing a father or a sibling or a friend. For me, it is a very different experience. And what I find typically is the following. As soon as someone asks me how I'm doing, I take a few seconds to compose myself, to feel like Is this person really interested in what I have to say, or do they feel they need to say something because they're interacting with me, they're on my team, whatever the point might be. So as soon as I start saying how I feel, this is what I'll hear. Oh, I know. I completely get it. I went through the same thing when my mother passed away, when my so and so passed away. And I think that's really important. But what does it have to do with what I'm saying? It's almost like they don't want me to say what I have to say because they don't know what to say. So they want to have some type of understanding that we're going through similar experiences. And a lot of that, while it could be heart centric, is also coming from a very different place. It's coming from a place of insecurity. It's coming from a place of really not having the confidence to be able to just sit in the silence and listen to what it is I have to say. So that's what we're talking about today, empathetic listening, listening to understand the other person's perspective. What do we typically try to do when someone is sharing their perspective? So I'm sharing how I feel about my mother's passing, and someone wants to tell me what it was like for them. People will also say, well, have you tried doing this? Did you speak to that? How long has it been? Shouldn't you already be? And that's called providing a solution when a solution hasn't been requested. So think about how you could listen at a different level. When we listen empathetically, when we listen at an elevated level, it's truly a gift that we're giving to someone else. Because if you take 10 people, out of those 10 people, at least 9, if not 10, are going to be over talking, interrupting, judging, problem solving, or stage hogging. It's just the way that the world is. When you meet someone who is actually listening at an empathetic level or with compassion or at an elevated level, that person stands out. And I bet if you were to think about it now, someone in your life who really is a good listener, you would probably be able to identify certain traits that that person has. They don't feel that they have to take over the conversation. When we feel we have to take over the conversation, and again, I'm using an extreme example, but it's a real example, losing my mother. So I'm sharing how I feel because you asked me. And instead of you giving me the space to say what it is I feel, you start butting in or you start throwing in random comments about yourself. And that's not helping me. Why are you doing this? You're doing it because you probably don't know what to say, or you want to fix me, or you want me to feel better, or you want me to move on, or you don't want to have this conversation. There's a lot of different reasons why we do it. And it doesn't have to be something as extreme as a death, it can be anything that you can possibly think of. In most cases, we'll find that we're very different from people as opposed to being similar. And that can be very interesting because you have one perspective and I have another perspective. But many times we feel that the only perspective that matters is our perspective. So we're not actually listening anymore to what the other person has to say because we don't agree with them, because what we're saying feels uncomfortable. There's plenty of reasons. So let's talk a little bit about what we can do to listen empathetically and to try and put in some new behaviors to implement new strategies, new solutions so that you have better relationships. If you think about it, we want to feel important. We want to feel loved. We want to feel safe. And that's what elevated listening, the goal of elevated listening truly is. So we're going to go back to just a couple of basics because I feel this is really important. It just happened again the other day. Somebody called me. They didn't ask if this was a good time. They just started rambling on about whatever it was. And I thought to myself, that's interesting because this person has actually taken my course and I wanted to say something, but I didn't say it then because that wasn't the appropriate time because the person really wasn't in the capacity to listen. So the first thing we want to do in order to be better listeners, to be empathetic listeners, is to ask for permission to share. When you ask for permission, you are basically saying, I respect you and I respect your time. Is this a good opportunity for me to share something with you? So again, I'm going to go with the extreme, but it's actually a true life situation. So if I just started calling people up out of nowhere and started talking about my mother dying, what it means to me, what I went through, what it feels like, I'm not going to get a lot of people who are very happy to hear from me because they're not mentally prepared. They're not emotionally prepared for that level of conversation. And again, that's an extreme. But on the other end, when we have something happen to us that we feel is really important, that doesn't mean that the other person feels it's important. So let's say, and this is an example I use because we have a role play on this, you got engaged. Okay, that's a big event in a person's life. You got divorced, you lost your job, you got a job, you met someone, you have a health issue, you just recovered from a health issue. All these things are very important to the person to whom they're happening. That doesn't mean that they're important at that moment to anyone else. So when you're filled with joy, or you're filled with dread, or you're filled with anxiety, and you decide to share this with someone else, if you don't ask for permission, then you're going to be disappointed most times. And the reason is either the person will listen to what you have to say, but they're not truly present. They're basically doing you a favor in their mind by listening to what you have to say because they're preoccupied, they're doing something else. So when you ask for permission, Joe, I have something I want to share with you. I'm super excited about it. I hope you'll be happy for me. Do you have 10 or 15 minutes right now? Actually, I don't. I'm in the middle of a project, but what you have to say sounds really exciting, and I'd love to hear more about it. How about tonight, maybe around 8 or 9 o'clock? Would that work for you? No, I want to tell you right now. It's not going to take that long, really. I want to tell you something. I want to tell you right now. I'm really sorry. Again, well, you know what? In the time that you're saying you're sorry, I could have already told you. I understand what you're saying, but I'm in the middle of this project and mentally, I'm just not here on the same page with you. Please allow me the respect to give you my undivided attention. If tonight won't work, how about over the weekend? So, what happens in that scenario? The first is that you, the person who's being asked the question, do you have 10 or 15 minutes right now? You're basically giving them a gift. And the gift is you're saying, I want to hear what it is, but I am not capable of doing so at this moment because I'm in the middle of a project. I don't feel well. I am on my way out the door, whatever the situation is. But the other person who's asking for permission, they feel that they're doing the right thing by asking you, is this a good time? But then when you come back and say, no, it's actually not, now they feel deflated. So what most likely will they do? Probably give you an argument or give you a hard time, or they're going to call someone else and go through the whole thing. So what I like to think about when it comes to empathetic listening is, first of all, how can we control our own emotions? How can we take the information of what just happened and sit with it? I'll give you another example. Again, my mother's passing away. I'm going to talk about something a little bit happier. So I published 3 books last week, I guess it was on the 21st, not that long ago. 3 books. My book coach and myself, we worked on it. We published them. We got them out there. So I was so excited about this. How often do you publish 3 books? And it was right after my mother passed away. So I had been working on the books and then I finished them. She passed away and then I made some adjustments to them. So who could I celebrate with? Who would be as excited as I was about my new books? My mother, but she's not here. So what did I do? Did I have a pity party? Did I start dialing for dollars, calling people saying, hey, guess what? I published 3 books. No, I sat with the 3 books in front of me and I thought about the effort that it took. I thought about how grateful I felt and I just enjoyed it myself. Does that mean I'll never speak to anyone about it? No, but I guarantee you, no one's going to be as excited about those books as I am. So that is a learning for me. And I hope that you can take something away from it, which is when something amazing happens, when something terrible happens, you can sit and process it yourself. You don't need acknowledgement from another person. Now, if you're experiencing anxiety, depression, any of these lower vibrations, get some help. Go and talk to someone. Absolutely. But to have people on speed dial that you're calling on a regular basis to give your story, your version of story over and over and not asking for permission, it's not going to facilitate a healthy relationship. And it might even get to the point where someone sees that you're calling and they just decide not to answer. So let's start with processing the information ourselves. If it's something that is affecting our health, our mental health, absolutely reach out to a professional. Speak to somebody. Speak to somebody in your world and say, I'm really struggling with this, and I'm thinking of calling a physician or I'm calling a therapist. That is something that you should definitely consider. But when it's something day to day that's not an emergency, let's take the emotion, take a step back. I physically like to take a step back and sit with my emotions. So, two emotions, I should say, maybe two situations with many emotions. One, my mother passing away. Obviously, a lot of emotions involved there. Two, on the other end, publishing 3 books. So I have been processing those completely divergent feelings myself. I've been working through them myself. I don't need to reach out and call 10, 15, 20 people so they can tell me that the way I'm feeling is good. It's bad. It's the way it should be. I should be over it. I should be celebrating the book. I don't need any of that. I have what I need right in here. And so do you. And that's what I want you to take away from it. When you feel that way, when you know in your heart that you are able to handle things on your own, you will be able to listen at a completely different level. Why is that? Because your mind is clear. When someone comes to me, if they've asked for permission and I've been able to set a boundary, which is, thank you, Susan, for asking if I have time. I do have time right now. I have 10 minutes. Would 10 minutes be enough for you to tell me what you have to tell me? Yes. Now, if Susan goes over 10 minutes, I'm not going to be looking at my watch repeatedly, but I don't know. I'm a pretty good judge of time because I do all of these television shows. I know how long a minute is. If Susan starts to go over 10 minutes, she's at 12, she's at 13, she's at 14, she's at 15. I'm going to know that Susan doesn't know how to set boundaries. And the next time Susan comes to me with something that she wants to share, I'm probably going to say, unfortunately, this is not a good time for me to be able to hear whatever it is you want to hear. And I'm going to be able to say it without feeling that sense of guilt. You know how you feel horrible when somebody comes to you and you say, I really can't do it right now. And then you feel so bad. No, I don't have any of that because I'm doing the work. And that's what I'm asking for you to consider. And again, why? Why are we asking you to do this work? Why am I asking you to do this work? So you have better relationships with people. So you're actually really connected with someone. When you're having a conversation, it's a true and authentic conversation. It's not, hey, what's the weather like? Or what'd you eat for dinner last night? Excuse me. These things are common things that people talk about, but is that really a connection? Is that a real deep conversation? So to have a deep conversation, to be a good listener, you have to be able to clear your mind, eliminate judgment, and be completely and totally present for what the other person has to share. And that also means when the person's sharing, you don't get the opportunity to judge. You're thinking to yourself, well, I told you I had to give you 15 minutes, and now you're talking about this subject, and I cannot stand talking about this subject. That shows that you're closed off. You're closed off, and there's no judgment about that. It's just that your ability to listen empathetically is probably curtailed or limited. So the first step is you're going to be asking for permission, setting boundaries, and really adhering to them. The second, which goes simultaneously with the first, is that you're going to be able to control your own emotions. And if your emotions get out of hand and you need help, you're going to seek help. If you're having a mental health issue, you're going to seek out professionals. If you're having physical challenges, you'll seek out other alternatives and you'll get help. If you're able to process it yourself, you'll be able to deal with the emotions that come up from a horrible situation, a painful situation, like I shared my mother's loss, or a happy situation, publishing 3 books. Those situations are so diverse, and I am processing them on my own. I am not sitting at a phone randomly calling people to tell them my boohoo story or to tell them my great story about the publications. I am sitting and processing myself. So when someone comes to me and shares with me about a loss that they've had or success that they've had, I don't feel that desire to take what happened to me and compare it to what happened to them. I'm able to completely be present and be that elevated listener for that person. And we shared this before. Can you be listening at an elevated level 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Absolutely not, because you have things to do, because listening at an elevated level is exhausting. It takes your full concentration and undivided attention. Now, there are more tips that I have for you, which are included in this book. And the reason I put this book together is because I truly want us to have peace on earth. I truly want people to have peace in their hearts. So, this is a tool. It's a tool for you to pick up and refer to on a regular basis when it comes to learning how to listen. What are some other things that you can do? Some other things that you can do include listening with an open heart, being available for someone when they're in need. And they might not even know that they need someone to talk to. It could be a complete stranger. You have no idea. People are always looking at us. People are watching us. Right now, someone is out there judging me. Maybe they don't like the way I look, or they don't like the way I sound, or they don't like my hair. They're judging because that's what people do. Our goal is to eliminate that judgment, that judging, and to come from an open hearted place of love for mankind, for humankind, for all living creatures, and to be that person who is available to listen without making any type of judgment. Sometimes we just need to let something off our chest. Have you ever felt like that? You just need somebody to talk to, but really, you just need someone to listen. They don't even have to say anything. That's why people, many times when they live alone, they've got the television on. They're talking to the television. They're talking to their plants. They're just getting something off their chest. And when we get it off our chest, typically we feel better. So if someone comes to you and they want you to be that sounding board, again, set your boundaries. You know what, John? I would love to be here for you. I'm just looking at my watch. I do know I've got an appointment coming up in a couple of 20 minutes, actually. I'll give you 10 minutes right now of my undivided attention. How would that be? Blah, 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 blah. So they start going on and on and on. And what do? You're starting to get nervous because you said you had 20 minutes. So what do? You pick up your phone. Maybe I'll text this person, let them know I'm running late. No, you're no longer available. You have a contract with this person. You said you had 20 minutes. It's up to you to make sure that this person doesn't go over 20 minutes. So how are you going to do this? Okay, it's 15 minutes. You're starting to get nervous. Okay, what am I going to say to interrupt her? Because I feel bad. She's right at this pivotal point of the story and I've got to go. And if I'm late and then I'm going to get there and how I'm going to make this excuse, you're not listening. You just totally checked out. You totally checked out. So you said 20 minutes that you would listen, but now you're 12, you're 13 minutes into it and you're no longer listening. You're not present. That's not fair. That's a commitment that you made to give the 20 minutes. When I say that's not fair, it's not a judgment, it's a contract. I have 20 minutes, I'll give you 20 minutes. So what do you do then? Maybe you realize that you know this person and you know that their 20 minutes is not going to be a real 20 minutes. You know, it's probably a 30 minutes. So maybe you say, this is not a good time for me to be here for you. I can tell, I see that you're upset. I know that you want to get something off your chest and I want to be there for you. I will be here for you, but I cannot do it right now. I'm so sorry. That is a gift Why is it a gift? Because you're saying, you know what? I do value you. You are important to me, but I can't possibly be fully present and listening when I know I've got to get in the car and drive. I've got to go to a meeting. I'm mentally preparing for the meeting. And if I give you this time, I'm not going to do a service over there, and I'm not going to do you any service. So if you, the speaker, are in control of your emotions and you ask for that opportunity, and the person comes back and says, I do want to hear what you have to say, but I can't do it right now. I can do it tomorrow at 2 or Sunday at 3 or whatever the case is. You, as the speaker, as the presenter, are okay because you have control of your emotions. You realize that whether you share this information with this person right now or tomorrow or Sunday, your life overall in the big picture is not going to be impacted. We take the emotion out of it. We use our logical brain and we say to ourselves, I do want to tell him what happened to me. And I want him to not have anything else on his mind so that he can be completely here for me. That is a gift. It is something that we all strive for, whether we realize it or not. We all want to feel heard. We all want to feel safe. We all want to feel loved. That's all I have for you today on my episode of Talking Heads. And again, please do consider going over to Amazon to pick up this book, Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening. Why? Because there's solutions in here for you to have better relationships, deeper conversations, and more authentic relationships. And isn't that what we want instead of superficial, surface level conversations and relationships? Thank you again to everybody at USA Global TV and Radio. And thank you so much to our new followers, our new viewers on E360 TV. This is Dr. JACALYN KERBECK signing off for now. Coming up next, Dr. Madalene Chan and her Talking Heads. We'll see you soon.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, and welcome to our new listeners and viewers on E360 TV. My name is Dr. Madalene Chan, and you are listening to Talking Heads program. And we're going to talk on Talking Heads. This is about my professional background, but also about what I bring forth through, because I don't have a script. It's just natural. It's just being in the now present and bringing it through. So that's how we're going to do it. All right. So today's conversation or topic is going to be about meeting your future self. Now, what is meeting your future self? Apart from when you look at films and you see, like say, Star Trek and people far, far out into the future generations, and they come back to the people of Earth and they're just so like humanoids. That's all wonderful and everything. But hey, shall we get a bit more realistic? Right. We are going to look at our future self. And by that way, I mean, we have been brought here on Earth to be creator beings. That means to manifest all we wish, all we desire, all we require, coming from a place within a heart center with higher vibrations rather than lower vibration of fear. Now, it's all very well me saying this. In fact, it's really easy for me just to say this. But put that into practice. Now, that is something. So I'm going to, in the next 25 minutes, I'm going to show you a way that is easy, accessible, rememberable, and fun as well. Right. So now what we're going to do, we are going to pretend now that you have, for example, I'm Dr. Madalene Chan. So I have Dr. Madalene Chan, and then another Dr. Madeleine Chan. So we've got two people, yeah, and they represent together as Dr. Madeleine Chan, but it takes two people. So with that, what I mean by that is Dr. Madeleine Chan A, for example, is living on this earth, and so is B, Dr. Madeleine, number 2, Dr. Madeleine. So she carries on her day, and she wakes up in the morning, and it's about going to work and being responsible. So it goes, oh, it's time to go to work. It's time. So the one that's, so it's basically saying you've got the logic, Madeleine Chan, that's about routine and responsibility. And then you have the other Madeleine Chan, which is about being freer, nurturing, being sensitive, being compassionate, looking around, being in that present moment. Now, the thing is with, so we'll say 1 and 2. So all you have to do is have 2 people that represent you. So you might think you're going to go a bit mad, but believe me, come along with this. Go along with me on this. So let's say you get up and you're going to work and you're going, oh, I've got to go by this time and this and this, and I've got to have my breakfast and this, and I've got to shower, blah, 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 routine, routine, routine. But the other part of you, as you're taking a shower, because you're in that shower, if you're thinking about all the worry, what's coming on, what's going to happen during the day, you're fueling that. So that's when you bring your other part of yourself to come in and go, oh, I can feel the lovely water. And you can even imagine beautiful golden ray of sunshine just coming in through and around you just to protect you, to make you feel centered. So that's one thing about showering. Then you go and have your breakfast, and it's like your other part's going, come on, let's hurry, hurry, hurry. I've got not time of day. I've got to hurry with this breakfast. You know, I've got to get out the door at a certain time. But your other one goes, hang on, wait a minute. I'm not going to think about worrying about what's going to happen, getting out of the door or what I'm going to come across. I'm actually going to, while I've got that time to eat the breakfast, I'm just going to eat the breakfast and not eat it so fast that I'm choking. Just eat it and just be thankful for the breakfast. And just think within that space of time, oh, I'm thankful for where this breakfast came from. Who prepared it? Thankful for everything of that breakfast. So you see how by having 2 people present that is of you, you can have the respond as in anxiety. Hey, you got to get on with the day, this and this, being responsible, having a call to action, but also having this panic and this worrisome and anxiety. Then you can bring the other part of you saying, okay, I'm doing this. I'm going to look at it in a different way. And and feeling it and looking at it a different way, you're fueling a different vibration into it. So let's go even further. Let's go, right, we've gone out of the door, and let's say you're in your car. Let's say you're not in your car. Let's say you're just walking to work, for example, and other people be on their phone, blah, 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 talking to the friend. Oh, yeah, I've got another day ahead. Oh, my God, I've got to see that person. Oh, I've got to, it's like heavy. You don't even know what's going to be happening in that day. You know, as far as routine, as what your job is, but you have no idea about the energy and who you're going to meet. And if you've already talked to your friend or put it into your mind and set that day up, that's exactly how it's going to be, then guess what? That's exactly the vibration you will attract. So as you're walking, instead of talking to your friend and thinking about worrisome, walk and go, hey, that tree is lovely. Wow, I never thought this. Look around and meet the vibration in a different way. So by the time you get to work, you haven't fed that vibration of fear and low vibration and anxiety and preparing yourself what the day is going to be, preparing the outcome of your day without actually experiencing that outcome of that particular day. So basically, you're judging because of other experiences you've had at work. You actually bring it into the next day. You bring it into the next experience, the new experience that you're about to experience the new day. And that's what people do. It's all very well people saying, well, I'm only human. Hey, come on, enough of that excuse. I'm only human after all. Yeah, but you know what? There's room for improvement. Yes, we're human, but we're human beings, meaning human beings. We are beings of humanity. And that is me. That is an example of meeting your future self. So everything that you go about going out in the day, look at it in that space of time that you have. Instead of panicking and being worried and anxiety and building yourself up to building yourself up until the point when someone actually talks to you or you come across on your path. And and depends where you're at with your vibration, with your mood, with your mind, you will respond according to what you have set yourself up for that day. And that's why, for some reason, when you start to just meet people and you just have an instant conflict with them, because you've set yourself up for that. And maybe that day they've set themselves up for a conflict as well. So what happens? You mirror each other and you magnetize towards each other, and then you have a conflict because you're both wanting to occupy that space, that vibration of conflict. So there's another way. So it's about retraining everything you've learned as a human and bringing in the intuition, your inner intuition, your inner guidance. So life is about a balance. So instead of having where we've had all our, solutions, experiences on the outside and looking for answers outside and solutions through talking to people upon other people's experience and basing it upon that, you then decide the outcome, or you decide, oh, I'm not going for that. Or, I've had a bit of a knockback. Oh, that's it. I'm giving up. It was, it's just not meant to be. It's interesting this, because there's so many people that option out and use the cliche, oh, it's just not meant to be. The only way you can say if it's meant to be or not is if you have tried everything, if you have thrown everything there, if you have approached it in a way of your logic, you approached it in the way of your ego, and then you've also approached it in the way of your inner intuition, your inner guidance. Then you can say, you know what? This is not actually serving me. It's not serving my purpose. Therefore, to leave it alone, to walk around it, to detach. When you're meeting your future self, it will be where if this life is about vibration and energy, and everything is moving, even though we can't see things that like a table or anything that's solid matter, we cannot actually see it reverberate. We can't see it vibrate because it's not within our human, I can say third dimensional. You have to be elevated to go higher, to see it beyond. So see through, there's a saying, when you see it through your third eye, it's almost like you see, there's a vision you see as the outside reality. And then it's almost like you go beyond that. And that's when you have your third eye, where you see things on a different dimension. It's still part of, you see things multidimensional. So 3D, the limited world, the illusion is 3D. It's not multidimensional. if we look at it from a 3D limited illusion. But when we open wide and look into it and look at it from different angles, it becomes multidimensional. So meeting your future self, one has to become multidimensional. If you remain stagnant within the illusion, within the matrix, within the lower vibratory fear, you are not multidimensional, and you will not meet your future self, because your future self is within you. It's your inner intuition. It's your inner guidance. It's following your heart, following your higher intelligence, your higher mind, your higher compassion, your greater love, your greater light. Thing is, when you meet your future self, there's no shadows. The shadows have gone. And because the shadows are gone, and by the way I mean by shadows is our fears, our low vibration, our anxiety, the way that we bring forth a manifesting illness within ourselves, because we are focusing on the discordant vibration. So let's say that we have little creatures, and these little creatures are part of our outer reality. Within us, we have, I would say, the good creatures. So we have the bad creatures and the good creatures. If we keep feeding the bad creatures, these little creatures, they will manifest into monsters, a big monster. And that's because you keep feeding that little creature until it becomes so powerful. You fuel it. So what I'm trying to say is, meeting your future self will make you look at all your behavior traits, from your eating habits, from the way that you have a mindset to heal yourself, from the way that you live in a mask and you do not follow your inner guidance, from the way you keep following your ego, from the way you keep feeding your pain and addiction. All you will do is, if you've really helped that little monster to go down to a tiny, tiny little creature, which you can control, and you're loving that creature because it's not threatening, the minute you begin to think of that addiction or that mask or that feeling, that emotion that you're hiding, and you start to fuel it, you are giving that little creature that food, and that creature will grow into a monster again. So you're back right from the start. So meeting your future self, you have to be prepared now. Live from your heart. By living from your heart isn't just saying, oh, it's all about love, everyone, and that's it, and you've just got to have love, you've got to do this for love and this. If you are not even doing and applying the love in your life in every area, every sector, then you're just wearing a mask. And life will pull you up. Because as you go on this journey of awakening, of meeting your future self, of opening your heart center, you will be tested. You have to be tested because more light needs to implement. You see, there's enough light now on this world. It's done. The light has won. Now, the light illuminates shadows, and that's what's happening in this world. It's illuminating the shadows, illuminating the pain, the masks, things that have been hidden It's all coming up to the surface because it's discordant to the earth. It's discordant to Mother Earth. So it needs to be cleansed. It needs to be purified. It needs to become neutralized rather than a discordant vibration. And meeting your future self, it will cause you and bring you certain people, certain places, certain events, certain situations to make you aware of the discordant energies that still remain within you. So within Dr. Madeleine Chan, that's number one there. So you have Dr. Madeleine Chan 2. Dr. Madeleine Chan 2 is the one that's the future self. But there's a big conflict there because we have been so ingrained in being a product, a placement of our background, of our previous life, our karmic life. It's difficult to, it's complex. It's a complex journey. The path of being a light worker, the path of love, the path of love is the most complex path, and it has to be. If it's that easy, no one would appreciate the light being that they are. And that's what we have to do. We are all here to meet our future self, our multidimensional self, so that we are at a balance. Therefore, we can control those little monsters because they're still going to be there. They're not going to fully disappear because they can't fully disappear because we are still physical Earth in 3D. Even though she's moved to 4D, her physical body is still in 3D. Her spiritual body, however, of Gaia is in 4D, 5D. So we're moving into that. So the more she is cleansing and purifying, the more we are cleansing and purifying. Right now, we are in the age of the masks fall off. That means when the masks fall off, remains your true, authentic self. And what is your true, authentic self? Ding! It's your future self, multidimensional. It's who you really are at a core level, rather than what has been predetermined, what has been decided because of all the years that have gone by from your life, from your background to your previous lives. So that's what we're dealing with right now. It's massive. It's absolutely colossal. It really is. And it's a choice. It's a choice. But I must say, if you find that you don't go and meet your future self, your inner guidance, then it's going to be a hard journey. Because 3D, the illusion, the matrix, is breaking up. Because the power of 3D has gone to its full power. It's geared up. It's gone to its fullest. It is now dissipating. We have to now start to clear up our minds. Yeah. Look at the way of our behaviors. Look at the way our words contain a resonance, a vibrancy, a vibration. Right? So we have to look at our words and find a way of expressing that is not defensive, not harmful, not judging, not condemning. Better to remain silent than to say something that you may regret later. Better to take that pause before replying. There's the power of elevated listening. Better to read and focus and be in the now moment and read what someone has sent you, rather than just skimming and replying, because it will not have that full energy to it. It will not have that full focus. It will be half-hearted, and half-hearted will not bring the results. 100% or nothing. Better to do something, put everything into it, than just 50%. Because if you put 50%, only 50% will be the outcome. And it's the same with your meeting your future self, with your inner guidance. So we have to look at the way that our food, we have to be careful what we, how can I say, digest, what we ingest, what we take in. We have to be careful because there's chemicals. We have to be careful now because it is now manifesting, because there's so much light that is now being shone back, that's been implemented, that's been into the earth. And now the light is illuminating the shadows, but the shadows within our body. And that is our habits, our food. Everything is manifested, our thoughts. If one person is saying they really love what this person's doing and they really welcome it, but in their thoughts, they're saying, I'm just doing that just to see what I can get out of it. Guess what? That other person will be in tune now with the real intention and thought. You see, masks are down, and where people could hide things and say, oh, I really like this, I like this, and oh, I love this brand, I love this, and I love this. Oh, I'm supporting you in every way. Oh, it's amazing. Wow. You know, if you're pure heart and you really feel that intention, it's coming from a pure heart. It's coming from a true intention of, yes, I'm so happy for you. I'm really happy for you. My heart is just, yes. And it's got that energy and that feeling. The other person will really bring that through. You see, they really will feel it. We'll cover this in next week. I feel that people's true intentions, are they real or are they fake? Let the masks reveal it. Take the masks down and it will be revealed. My name is Dr. Madalene Chan. I've super enjoyed sharing my experience, just being in the now present, bringing it through. I know it might be a bit woo, but that's who I'm known for. I really am. I am a soul heart awakened, and you can find me on USA Global TV and radio, on the education courses with Dr. JACALYN. We have got some amazing courses, how to transcend from the shadows and awaken that heart and meet your future self, really. So I've super enjoyed. Thank you so much, USA Global TV viewers. Thank you, E360 TV viewers. Thank you, everyone. And thank you to life itself. Mwah. Love you all. And remember, it's time to meet your future self.
This program has been brought to you in part by Zane Carson Carruth, etiquette and protocol expert, international award-winning author, television show host, and philanthropist. Thank you to Zane, our official diamond sponsor for USA Global TV and Radio in partnership with E360 TV. Zane is the author of the world's first tooth fairy ever, as well as many other children's books. She's also the television host of Elegance, Polished Demeanor, and Posh Living, seen on USA Global TV and Radio.
Hi, my name is Zane Carson Carruth, and I'm the author of this book, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever.
Reading is magic. Studies have shown that reading to your children lays the foundation for greater success in life. Reading helps develop language and vocabulary skills. It helps improve memory, and it encourages curiosity and inspires creativity. The benefits are immeasurable, and as a parent, you'll benefit too. In only 10 or 15 minutes a day, you'll be creating more memories and a bonding experience that will last for years to come. So take time to read to your children. Read them books about things that engage and interest them. Tales of fairies and magic fascinate children, and as everyone knows, the Tooth Fairy is at the top of the list. If your child loves magic, wands, adventure, and what child doesn't, you'll love reading them books from the trademarked series The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever. Follow along as Abella, the world's first tooth fairy, accidentally starts the tooth fairy tradition. Learn the tricks of being a professional tooth fairy in the book Abella Starts a Tooth Fairy School. Your child's imagination will soar as you read the adventures of Abella and her magic wand. These wonderful books are available at worldsfirsttoothfairy.com and at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.
To learn more about Zane, contact her through her website, zanecarruth.com, ZANECARRUTH.com. Order Zane's books and merchandise. Contact her about being a keynote speaker at your next event. This program is also brought to you in part by Ella Holly, artist and singer of the single Things That We Do.
If I look into your heart, are you looking back at me? Am I everything you want, baby? If my heart was in your hands, would it be for you and me? Would you wanna keep it close, baby? Why don't I find the right guy, the one I dreamed he'd be? Give it all that you can, stumble and fall. Love will set me free. Baby, 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 don't you know you drive me crazy? I love the things that we do. Baby, 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 if you say that I'm your lady, 'cause I can't stop thinking of you. If you told me to my face, you would lie right through your teeth. Would anybody know this is meant for me? I'm not the one to cry or throw my heart away. Can you show me all your loving? 'Cause I'm tired of these games. Why don't I find the right guy, the one I dreamed he'd be? Give it all that you can, stumble and fall. Love will set me free. Baby, 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 don't you know you drive me crazy? I love the things that we do. Baby, 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 if you say that I'm your lady, 'cause I can't stop thinking of you. Wanna play the game, make it up, fake it up. It's what we do. Wanna play the game, shake it up, wake it up. I'm thinking of you. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. Reach for the Baby, 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 don't you know you drive me crazy? I love the things that we do. Baby, 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 if you say